introduction, and then we're about to have some fun for the culture. How about that? All right. Go ahead, Steph.
Also coming to the stage, give it up for Tony Shellman and Mike B. These are heavy, heavy hitters in hip-hop fashion.
Whoop, whoop. Hi.
Hey.
What's up, brothers? You look good. You look good. You look black. You look great.
Okay, a little something, something.
Yeah, if I start staring at y'all randomly, I don't have my contacts in, so you're all beautiful silhouettes. But you look great. You look fantastic, but I'm not like staring you down. I just can't see the whites of your eyes, but we're good. But I can see these two brothers with me over here. And here's the thing, you guys, right? As we were thinking about what we wanted this conversation to focus on, literally the fact that we wanted to say we've been here before is because, well, I am not gonna claim that I know what generation all of y'all are from, because again, I didn't wear my contacts and we don't age the same as others, so I could be wrong. But what we did want to do is make sure it was understood as we continue, especially at Essence, to emphasize the fact that black culture drives culture, is culture. The work is to make sure that that is returned to us at full value, right? The revolution must be financed, and we believe economic inclusion is a human right. And so what we want to do in this fun conversation with these two legendary, I could call y'all like your hip-hop designers, arteliers, I don't know what to call them, but here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about how some of the things that you're experiencing now in black culture, now in overall culture, have been here before, and we're gonna get a real good education on what that's gonna look and feel like. But we're also gonna get some real talk about how we make sure that we own it, how do we learn how we can continue to operate in this world at our full value, but have a little fun and celebrate being blackity, blackity, black, black, black. Fair enough? So the first thing I'm gonna have each of you brothers do, I want you to answer this question. Who is Mike B? I know, deep, huh?
I can answer it.
That would be fun. Go ahead and tell me who Mike B is, then you get to tell me who Tony Shellman is. We'll do it that way. Do you know who's who? You're about to find out.
I'll tell you who Mike B is.
Hold your mic a little closer.
Yeah, I got you. So let's talk about Mike B for 1 second from my perspective, right? I met Mike B in 1996, 97.
How many, wait a minute. Raise your hand if you were alive in 1996. Okay, all right. All right, just making sure some references might need to be explained.
97, 96, I met Mike B interning at Bad Boy, interning for Groovy Lou, interning for Puff, and that's how I met Mike B. But Mike B has been a style icon for me, a cultural revolution, an icon revolution. I'm gonna say it because I know everybody's afraid to say it. A hustler, a mover, a shaker, an innovator, a creator.
Yes.
A guy for me that has been an influencer, a guy that while I was doing what I was doing would come up and visit me, sit there in the design meeting, the designers like, who's this? Don't you worry, it's a secret weapon. And just would sit there and go through the line, tell us what's hot, what's not, what's whack. Yo, B, that shit's whack. Okay, got you. Take that out.
Oh, we cussing today.
Sorry about that. So
no,
again,
I was just saying I'm gonna do it too.
And my favorite part, one of the kindest, most loving and giving and soulful brothers I know. God bless you, brother. Can I get a round of applause for Mike B?
Listen,
please.
So first of all, the dopest thing all of y'all should have on your resume is to be called a secret weapon. That ought to be your goal.
Secret weapon, baby. I'd be like, yo, Mike, do you see this color? What do you think?
Right.
Yeah, switch it up immediately. Okay, you know, I don't like that color. Switch that shit up.
Okay. So if you haven't figured out, that was Tony Shellman. So Mike B's now going to tell us who Tony Shellman is.
Oh, no.
What's up, everybody? Who is Tony Shellman? I'm going to tell y'all who Tony Shellman is. Tony Shellman, to me, is the Yoda of putting together branding and marketing for urban clothing. For y'all, and I don't even really like to say urban clothing because we all know we all from the hood originally, right?
Somewhere.
So, but at the end of the day, you know, it was really the suburbs that were trying to jack our style.
You better tell it.
They were trying to really just come underneath the rug and then just say, you know, let's just call it urban real quick. But anyway, Tony, if y'all have ever heard of Mecca jeans, Enyce clothing, Feline as well. Well, Tony is the guy that put together the brains and the marketing and the branding behind those brands. that's why I call him the Yoda, because once he set that precedent, then everybody was trying to follow the blueprint moving forward. So this is my Yoda right here.
Now listen, so there's Yoda, Secret Weapon, and Caroline, and that is perfect because you are in the presence. You are in the presence of legends. And whether or not you know about them does not make them any more or less of a legend. It's your job to learn. Because what they did in this culture moved forward things that you are now picking up and moving forward. Had they not done what they did, you wouldn't have what you have. You are in the presence of legends. If there's anything you hear, ask about that you don't understand, do the work, do the research. If you know and you sit next to somebody, help them Google it. But what we really need to understand and be educated about is the culture we have owned for a long time and the obligation everybody in this room has to move it forward. Because if Yoda and the Secret Weapon hadn't done what they did, you wouldn't be here. So if you don't do what you're supposed to do after this conversation, then nobody else is coming to fill that seat, and you holding up our progress. Fair enough? Google it. All right. So let's start with this question. So when I think about hip-hop culture and kind of being the originators of so many trends today, tomorrow, in the future, I'm always about shoes. Right? Like there's something about shoes that have always been a part of hip hop culture. But when you think about clothing that is forever connected to hip hop culture, what articles of clothing come to mind for you that you didn't make, create, sell, all that?
Yeah, we didn't make that, we didn't create. And what comes to mind when you think about the culture and hip hop and way back, and that's kind of here today, I'm gonna start like this.
What we doing? Everybody feel safe? Starter jacket! Oh, sorry, I just have... No, like, swear these are starter jackets. Dude, raise your hand if you know what starter jackets are. Oh my God, please Google now. Holy shit!
That's for you. And of course, my man Mike B.
I'm done. I'm giving it to Mike. I didn't have a starter jacket when they had starter jackets.
I'm just saying, y'all recognize. That's from my man, my lovely friend Carl Banks.
I really don't need to be on this panel.
My good friend Carl Banks from G3 asked me to bring these out to y'all. Hip Hop 50 starter. Let's go.
Catch me outside. So
I thought we'd start with this.
Educate people who don't know why these are significant before they Google it.
Okay, so before y'all start Googling starter, as young people, every kid, everybody, we all have a starter story. We can all talk about getting our starter jackets. I used to beg my mama to get me a starter jacket. I would save every dime I had to get a starter jacket. But the other piece was, if you had a jacket, you're trying to not get beat up to somebody take it from you. It's like between starter jacket and Jordans, you was trying not to have somebody take it from you. So the starter jackets, from the popover to the Hoyas jackets to the Raiders jackets to a Yankees jacket, the starter jacket's just iconic. It's legendary. So again, I thought, Carl Banks, who owns the IP for starter, he's doing his thing. My man, G3, all the folks at G3, I definitely want to say thank you very much. Mike B, come on, man, this is what you do. Come on, this is what you do.
Do you know that my immigrant parents did not understand the significance of
Here we
starter
go.
jackets?
Starter stories.
So when I was in
starter
sixth grade,
stories.
my mom, can I have a starter jacket? Like, you have a jacket already.
Yes, I love you for that.
It's not the same thing. Are you cold? Yes. We lived in Minnesota, came from Kenya, started the equator, now we were there. And my mom was like, are you cold? Yes. Then you have a jacket already. And so, y'all don't understand. Dr. Pamela Wanga just got shut down right now. I got my starter jacket.
So I just wanted to say thank you.
Yes. First of all, this is way more than a thank you. This is I have to pay dues because of what's on my shoulder right now. I have dues to pay for this. But you touched on something, and then I'm going to have you answer the question, Mike. You touched on something that I want you to iterate on.
Yes.
Because as you guys know, regardless of what we create in culture, right, whether or not we get our value back, often negative stories get attached.
Sure, absolutely.
And starter jackets were one of those clothing items that sparked a very negative
Absolutely.
narrative about black. Will you
Yes.
just talk a little bit about that side of it?
So when we talk about starter jackets, I mean, the whole thing about is like the different colors. So if
And
it
if
was,
y'all can hold your voices so others
if
who
you're
want
on
to
the
hear
West,
can
if
listen.
you're on the West Coast, you were rocking the Raiders jacket. NWA, obviously it was fuck the police. So the jacket had that connotation. Again, it sparked the connotation of gangs. Certain gangs would wear starter jackets. So it brought in that connotation. But the real reality was kids were true sports fans. Kids were true athletes, and kids really appreciate what was brought to them by those athletes. From a Bo Jackson to a Carl Banks, these athletes brought liveness to these jackets. And so the starter jackets became a sports thing. But to your point, it had a negative connotation at some point in time.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, again, when we tell the starter stories, again, you want to roll up on the first day of school, since it's pretty much the first day of school. My kids were like, where's my starter jacket? So you always had to have a starter jacket. But the negative connotation was you was trying not to get your jacket taken from you. Simple as that.
It
I'll let you
is.
jump in.
But there's
That
also
part.
a lesson in there about, and this again, as we continue to intertwine culture, plus what we deserve economically, plus what is the narrative, how black continues to be minimized for the sake of those that don't want to give us credit for our work. Part of the thing that happens when we influence culture is somebody will try to make it bad so we don't get all our credit. Somebody
Absolutely.
will try to create a
Absolutely.
narrative or stir a pot so that the rise that is being seen starts
Correct.
to get deafened so
Correct.
it doesn't reach its peak. So while yes, there was this narrative around fights around starter jackets, the
Yes.
reality is the percent of that was happening compared to what it meant to just be fly as hell was a very low ratio, but that's what got amplified. Remember, there will be retaliation for breaking history. Suit up.
Yeah. Let's go to my left.
Let's go. What's the one thing in hip-hop fashion that's iconic to you? B?
Well,
Can the
one
people
thing-
in the back please respect the conversation? You're more than welcome to keep talking, but please move it. We got legends on the stage.
Well, the one thing for me, I would say, is influence. Black culture pretty much influenced everything,
Yeah.
right? Now, you have hip hop, right?
Yep.
And I feel like hip hop, the street culture of hip hop, the youth, the culture of the youth, keeping it going, and the creativity is hip hop.
Yeah.
So when you tie all of that together, hip hop is the black culture. So at the end of the day, it really boils down to how we're like the tanning of America.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we're like off of, just of our culture, it's like we kind of change economy in itself.
Yeah.
Moving forward, just from the way that we spend that mighty dollar on Black Friday and running to the stores and all that.
That's right.
But that's pretty much my thought.
Yeah. Is there any one particular article of clothing to you that is just signatory? My nephew walks around in his Air Force Ones looking like a duck because he doesn't want to get a crease in them, right? No, my nephew's like that. I'm just telling you some of the significant things. What article of clothing is significant for you?
For me, I would say my glasses, my eyewear.
Okay.
Because I can't see without them. period.
Amen.
And of course, it helps my vision with bringing things to fruition. Ooh, I could be a rapper.
Bars! That was done. Did you write it down? Don't use this shit. Okay. So,
Item would be my denim.
denim.
So yeah, just rocking all my different denims.
Can we get his
Started-
mic fixed? Let
When
me
I
swap
first
out
started, I rocked the, yep. When I first started, I rocked the Lee denims, and that was how I got started in fashion. So that's how I even got involved with denim. So quite frankly, when I started traveling overseas, I started taking some of those fits and different fits from Lee, just from the yoke right here, just right in the saddle, in areas, in different areas for Lee
Yoke in the
jeans.
saddle.
The saddle right there in the saddle, right here. That's the saddle.
That's the saddle, people. Google it.
Hey. But the different saddle pieces and the way the kids would do the jeans, and even just like the permanent crease, like Mike B has in his sweatpants there, we do that with the jeans. And so we took all that, so that I got that from hip hop fashion, from all those hot kids in New York up in the Brazons.
Yeah.
And the
So for
boogie
those
down.
that may not know, denim is more than just jeans. It's the material that makes jeans. It could be a
that's
lot
why-
of things.
That's why I spoke of denim.
That's right. So I wouldn't be doing this justice if I didn't then ask about how hip hop culture influenced black women's hip hop fashion. So what were some of the things you started? Because I did have some bamboo earrings on here, and
You
then a
got that,
hater
you
took
got
the
that.
post out of them.
Hit him with that.
For one, the queen, the black woman is the queen, right?
Y'all agree?
So,
Hello?
Just check
Hello?
it. Just check
so
it.
from there, you have the king. But the king is always influenced by the queen.
Thank you.
I mean, even down to that's why we get fresh cuts. That's why we get big cars and
You better
rides
tell
and-
it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're influenced by the queen because we want to not only protect the queen, but we want to look good for the queen.
Yeah. And we appreciate all you do to look good for the queens. We appreciate it.
So with that being said, so when you look at hip hop fashion and you look like the female's part of hip hop fashion, which was dope because just like with the rap piece of it, the female had to really step out tough, really kind of show her way. So when you look at the different fashion, like we always are quick to talk about Dapper Dan, but when was y'all looking at the April Walkers and Fashion
Hold
Effect?
right there. Raise your hand if you know who April Walker is.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Before you go to bed tonight, look up April Walker and everybody else that Google says she's affiliated with. Go ahead.
So, with that being said, and you look at her fashions, and when you Google her, you'll look at all her fashions in that. Don't get me wrong, I love my girl Moni Love, I love Queen Latifah and what they were doing, but April Walker was the root of all that. She was a person taking hip hop fashion and bringing a female spirit to that fashion, and to me, taking hip hop and taking it to a fashion level. Most female artists at the time, you take Moni Love, she had to wear a guy's jacket.
Yeah.
April took that same jacket,
Yes.
chopped it, cropped it, made it sexy.
Yes.
So when you
out to
think about
Walkerwear.
the way, shout out to Walkerwear. So when you think about hip hop fashion, women played a really strict part. And then when you start thinking about the styling from the men's stylist, and then there was a female stylist from a Sybil Penix to a Misa. All these
Amisa,
female
if you don't know who
stylists.
that is.
You guys know who Misa is, right? Yes, okay, come on, represent
Mary
the
J.
queen.
Blige, start there.
Like Mike B said, the queens of this.
Yes.
And I really want to represent that because
Yes.
it's those ladies that would be like, hey, pulling my coattail, hey, T, you know what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? So to me,
Yeah.
the female part of hip hop fashion
Yeah.
is what gave hip hop fashion its flair,
Yeah.
gave it its excitement.
Yeah.
Yes, it was
There
June.
it is.
It was June Ambrose that said,
Details.
okay, Puff, you're gonna wear it like this, and this is what it's gonna look like.
Yeah.
To Missy, it was June that gave it that inspiration. Where Hype Williams was like, oh, okay, got it. So
Yeah.
again, y'all ladies, I mean, can I get a shout out to the ladies? Let's get this
Woody,
going.
woo.
Let's get this going, ladies. Let's go.
Yes. And I think part of it also, as we saw women in hip hop continue to ascend, you started to see new things enter the mix, right? So
Right.
earrings had always been a part of hip hop, but the bamboo earrings was what the sisters brought forward, right? If you don't know what a bamboo earring is,
Come
you need to
on.
go buy some.
Yes.
It's a cultural artifact.
Yes.
But
And those haircuts.
there were things also, to your point, that were enhanced and made more fly, but there's also things that were invented by them, whether it be hairstyles,
Right.
whether it be the wear that they wore a pair of shoes, but they also would fit into the menswear as a part of being in hip hop, which is that versatility we love.
Well, again, I didn't want to make it about this completely, but let's talk about
Let's
it
go
for one more
now.
second. So check this out. Color.
Color.
Color. Let's talk color.
Let's do it.
Color came from women in fashion. Color, like if you look at hip hop fashion, right? Before women really were so-called rooted into it, right? It was black and white. It was gray. It was dark colors. When women came in, it became these bright, beautiful colors, these purple jeans, these crazy, super fashion. Hello. There we
Lime
go.
green.
Right, these lime green pants.
Just say it.
That's just saying.
Black
So
owned.
I'm asking for a friend. That's
You
all.
should. Tell your friend I said
So
hey.
all I'm saying is that that's when you start to see the real
Yeah.
brightness and the flair of fashion. And again, then you start to see artists, again, like a Puff, all these different artists starting to wear stuff that had color to it.
Yeah.
Before then, it wasn't. It was like, let me just put on my black jacket and go
Yeah.
out and be hard.
Can we get the people in the back to hold their voices down, please?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give us an opportunity. I've got additional questions, but I wanna give an opportunity for anybody in the audience that has a question for these gentlemen to pose it. Of course, I've got plenty more, but there's lots to learn, be inquire about. There's no such thing as a bad question.
Yes.
I can't tell if you raise your hand. There's somebody behind the pole who looks the silhouette of a sister. I told you I had
Hey.
my contacts in. I'm pretty sure it's the sister. Can somebody get her the mic? The question, just for the audience, was how they both got started in fashion.
Well,
Go, do it.
I was embedded in this. I was born in this. So I'm Jamaican Cuban.
Come on, Jamaica.
Um,
Hey,
My parents, when they came to Jamaica, their first stop was Harlem. So between growing up like around Harlem and just seeing the styles, I think that started to, I started taking a like to it. But it was in an organic field because then also now I have my parents where they had our garments laid out for each event. You had school clothes, and you had play clothes, you had church clothes, but you had Easter Sunday.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That's where you come through and you're just smashing the whole building in church on that Sunday.
Not the whole church building getting smashed.
Yes.
So, honor and respect, Lord, honor and respect.
He's working on all of us still.
But my fashion also came from, I never knew that I was gonna be a stylist all this time, although growing up, me and my friends and my homies and my brothers, we used to wear and borrow my cousin's clothes, right? So then, this is during the Polaroid era, if anybody's familiar with the Polaroid.
Google it if you don't know what a Polaroid is.
We used to take different color bed sheets and put it over the clothesline, right?
Different color bed sheets over the clothesline.
Because you're creating your psyche already.
So this is what was before filters and blurred backgrounds in Zoom. We would take our sheets and put them on clothing lines to give ourselves a little great background.
So by the time it's someone's turn to take the picture, we're already posing in front of these different bed sheets.
I love
these
it.
different sites.
I love it.
So that took a part, that was an early part with me doing production and not even knowing that I was doing production, right? Now,
Creating and directing.
creative directing. So that also being added to, I was the shorty that was always hanging around the hustlers, right? And if they weren't like kicking me to get back to school or whatever the case may be, they'll go in their pockets, or Mike B, I need you to go downtown and, you know what I'm saying, go shopping for me. When I'm going shopping for them, there's times where I had to take like the Peter Pan or the Greyhound because you can only go to
Can you
Atlantic
explain
City.
the thing you said right before Greyhound for the children?
The Peter Pan.
What is a Peter Pan besides
that?
in a movie?
Or
Peter
peanut
Pan
butter.
is the big bus that you take state to state, right?
Peter
So it was
Pan, not what you'll find
another
if you
form
Google
of
it.
transportation to go out of state if you weren't driving and you didn't feel like to fly. So it was either Peter Pan or the Greyhound, et cetera, et cetera. So, but during this time, you could only get the white on white Gucci high tops in Atlantic City. So what I was doing was, I wasn't necessarily, just because I wanted to get with them and just, hang out and get as much information, whatever budget that they would give me, I would still put that together, but I would buy my bus ticket. Because I wasn't really telling them that, well, they don't have them at Fifth Avenue, so now they don't need me anymore because they got whips and spaceships. They can go to Atlantic City if they want to. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm really like taking this budget that they've given me, putting it in my pocket, and when I come back uptown and I'm laying these garments out on the hoods of the Jeeps and the Beamers and the Infinity trucks and all of that, it became like a show. Like Mike B is about to come lay some things out. So even
like
then,
love and hip hop reality at the time, not a reality show.
Yeah, absolutely, because
Technically a sales
love
meeting.
for
Technically a sales
going
meeting.
on.
Sales meeting.
Right, but at the same time, I was being a personal stylist and a shopper at the time, and I didn't even know how my life would end up coming full circle. So some folks, they talk about the hustlers and the pharmaceutical geniuses in the streets. You understand? Like, some of those guys were influences on my whole style because at one point they were my superheroes. You understand what I'm saying? Some cats, they pulling up in the cars and their whole sweatsuit is matching the interior of their car. Burgundy burgundy interior with the cream piping.
Velour.
They're jumping out with the cream sweatsuit with the burgundy piping or something, and all of that just tied in and there's more stories I could.
I love that because the thing that I love about that story, and you were highlighting that is.
Can I answer the question?
But do you hear how many references he made to, and I didn't know I didn't know I was doing this. I didn't know I was doing that. That was sales, that was entrepreneurship, that was accounting, that was innovation, right? That was programming, that was directing, that was production. All of y'all out here trying to be influencers on social media, he did it without Instagram. So what are you doing with it now?
Wow.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Wow.
That part.
Wow, okay.
Say that.
Wow, okay, Mike.
Facts.
Now, we may not be able to work Instagram, so touche.
Yeah. How I got started in fashion. I was what? My first fashion really was, my dad was a longshoreman, if y'all know what that is. Worked on the docks, shipping, all that other madness, right? But in the evening time, my dad worked with all these different jazz artists and jazz people in Seattle. I was born and raised in Seattle, Washington, and Seattle was a big jazz hub. So there's a lot of great people from Seattle, from Ray Charles, Quincy Jones. My dad worked with all those people. So I got to see him at night get dressed up, and I was like, wow, where's he going? My mom was like, he's going to his other job, baby. Right. And so my dad was always
asking questions.
Yeah, exactly. Don't ask questions you don't want the answers to, boy. And so my dad was always dressed to the nines, so that was that piece. So my dad had a bunch of friends, and he knew all these different people. So I ended up working at a store, in a small department store in Seattle for my dad's friend called Nordstrom. So I ended up doing that, and that's kind of where I got started with another friend of mine, and that's Pete Nordstrom. And so I worked in the shoe department selling women's shoes.
He was friends with a Nordstrom. Not the store, the actual family and people.
I'm still trying to grasp that part of the story.
It was Pete Nordstrom, not Nordstrom.
So yeah, right. So Pete, so I ended up selling women's shoes, and that's kind of like, so the fashions in the store. So my favorite department in the store was men's furnishings. And as a young person, the guys in men's furnishing would be dressed to the nine. I'm like, ooh, this is like, that's where I got my first Gucci wallet. Yeah. That's where I got my first Gucci watch. Yeah. And then, you know, from there, I got my first Chanel tie, because you didn't know Chanel made accessories for men, but they do. So that's when I started being like, ooh, that's when I started understanding that my jacket is just as important on the inside of my jacket, the lining, as the outside of my jacket. And that's when I was like, this is what I'm doing. Between that and my sneakers and some hip hop shit, yeah, let's get this popping. And that's when I was like, I'm gonna be in fashion. So I took over the town, and fashion became Tony Shellman. That's how I got started, if that answers your question.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go so long.
No, yes, you did. But here's the thing, right? We are not good at brevity, but we at least gave a foundation for what you have had the opportunity to understand about what these gentlemen did with what you are now existing in. I am pretty sure, in a second, I'm gonna ask them how people can get a hold of them. Yes. My charge to you, especially because we ran out of time, is somebody gonna catch me like, you didn't call me, I had a question. The benefit of where we are with technology is your question doesn't have to die just because the stage ended. Right. So what I'm gonna ask each of you to do is, as they share how you can get a hold of them, in the same way you have your favorite actor, your favorite hip-hop artist, your favorite writer, your Black History, Maya Angelou, and everybody under the sun, and you wish you could talk to them about what they did based on what you're interested in, a door has been opened for the very same thing. If your aspirations sit in what they represented, they are here to help you. They don't benefit any from this. They've done their thing. They want to make sure it doesn't die. So gentlemen, as a part of closing us out, if anybody in this room has more questions or just wants to understand more, how can they reach you?
Mike B. Y'all can slide into my DMs. Just joking. Just joking.
I mean,
I told you Instagram, I'm here.
Basically, social media, BOGARD, like iPhone. That's BOGARD as in David. Or if it's dealing with a brand, it's BOGARD by Mike B. BOGARD by Mike B is my brand, by the way. BOGARD is building organizations geared around real deals. And I am your favorite fashion stylist's favorite fashion stylist.
Did you hear that? I am your favorite stylist's favorite stylist.
And that's the
clout.
And that
what about,
is the
how
truth.
can they get a hold of you?
Yeah. Oh, so
it was deep. Those two bars.
My number is like that, right, Waples? No, you guys can reach me at Making a Brand. It's a concept I work with my boy Mark, stand up. So Mark will be there, my man Marcus Anderson. Making the Brand is a course and a curriculum that we do to help in fashion. So my thing with fashion is this. I've been very fortunate and blessed with all these wonderful people and things around me. So my job is to be in service and to give it back. So we generated a curriculum called Making the Brand, where we all these different things from production to design. And so I wanted you guys to understand this is a real course and a real curriculum that is great. It's amazing. And I brought one of my students that's an amazing guy, and his company's called Voto Santo, and it's right here. It's called The Face of God. So everybody get a chance to check it out. My man Pat, say hi, Pat.
What up, Pat?
So again, talk to Mark. It's called makingthebrand.com. Check it out. Please go register. put your information in. Easy access. It may sound difficult, but outside of that, y'all can just call, hit the man up. I'm that easy to get in contact with. Love to answer questions. Not looking for your check. Don't need your money. Just want to help you out as best I can. Give you my experience. I want to say, first of all, Mike B, and I know I'm speaking for Mike too. We want to say thank you to you guys at Essence. Barku, I hear you. L'Oreal, I hear you.
Absolutely.
You know, come on. I hear you. The Queen, I hear you.
Stephanie, shout out to Steph.
We want to say thank you very much. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all coming, sitting here, listening to us, me ramble on and talk about, but please feel free to ask questions. We here. I ain't gonna run out the room in 5 seconds. There ain't no limo. You like the way I said limo? Ain't no limo outside waiting for me to go nowhere.
Google limousines.
Google limousines.
But now you just have them as a car.
Let's go.
Yes. So I'm gonna close with a quote that is going to remind you of the obligation I gave you at the beginning of this conversation. You are watching legends whose legend will die if you don't do what you're supposed to do. They're not gonna live forever. It will end with them if you don't do what you're supposed to do. So this idea of, huh?
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, can I finish my quote and then you gonna add it? Because I'm gonna forget it. Yeah, I'm right there in that Gen X, right over there in that, what did I just say? Age. But the quote is about your participation in making black value be true at its right price for our community. And so what it's gonna take to do that is that it's an all-in, participatory, all contact endeavor. The choice to play a role plays a role. So you either play the role that you are best positioned to impact, or the choice not to kills legends. Sleep on that tonight. Close us out.
Woo!
That was pretty much what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I figured
Damn, Mike.
I mean, we were
Damn, Mike.
I mean, you was gonna put a little beat to it, but we were there.
No, because what I was gonna point out is Mark is actually one of the OGs back in the days that I admired with his style. Like, he's one of my super fashion superheroes that I wanted to be like.
Come on, fashion superhero.
Don't
you
front.
aesthetic Avenger.
So Tony is my triple OG when it comes to this fashion thing.
Great.
So what I wanted to say is, like, I feel like the younger generation just needs to take time out and just sit with the OGs if you want to, because that's information, free information that y'all can get. And from there, if both generations combine, there's no reason why there shouldn't be any like black fashion houses or black LVMHs out there.
That's right.
Just, supporting each other.
Go.
So,
That's right. No gold medal for the 4x1 if you can't pass the baton. Ladies and
Woo!
gentlemen, Mike B,
Let's go.
Tony Shellman, I got a starter jacket. Bye.